So we were just a few days away from UFC Fight Night. Jared Cannonier versus Nasruddin Imavov, which means it's time for me to break down every single fight on this card, starting with the first fight of the night, going all the way up to the main event. Let's get right into it. The first fight of the night is Ryan Dos Santos versus Puna Tomar. Puja Tomar. I'm already messing names up. Great. Puja's 8-4 on a 4-fight win streak in Matrix Fight Night is the promotion she's coming from. Her last loss being a round 1 ground and pound TKO loss to Stamp Fairtex in ONE FC. Her 3 other losses being by submission. Ryan is 14-7, coming off of a split decision loss to Talita Alencar. I really thought she won that fight, but it's low-level women's MMA, so nobody cares about the decisions down there. I think Ryan will shine on the feet and on the ground, to be honest. Potentially finding a submission early on. All of her submissions are round 1 arm bars, and Puja has been submitted by an arm bar, so screw it. I usually take decisions here. I'm going to take the chance. Most likely will still be a decision. I'm taking the chance of a round 1 submission for Ryan Dos Santos here, especially coming off a loss. If she takes another loss, maybe she gets cut. I don't know. Next fight up the card, we got Cody Stamann versus Taylor Lapilus. Stamann 21-6, coming off of a loss to Douglas Silva do Andrade. He's only lost to great competition, though, like Said Nurmagomedov, Merab, Jimmy Rivera, Aljamain Sterling. Kind of snuck Jimmy Rivera in there a little bit, but Taylor Lapilus 19-4, coming off a loss to Farid Basharat by decision. The striking was close between him and Basharat, but Basharat's been boring recently, and Basharat outgrappled him in moments, but Lapilus does have a 9-inch reach advantage on Stamann. However, I don't see that playing much of a factor, to be honest. I think Stamann will have success in the clinch. He likes to wrestle a lot and be up close and personal. He's not going to be playing it at distance with Taylor Lapilus, especially with that reach advantage. He's going to be trying to get that clinch going. You definitely need to take into account that Stamann needs this win or he may be cut. I think Stamann wins a decision is what I'm going with. Let's also not forget Lapilus is from Paris. Or he's from France. He's from France, at least. So he's a French fighter. They all quit. They're losers. Stamann wins by decision. Next fight up the card. We've got Eduardo Moira versus Denise Gomez. Eduardo's 10-0 coming off a round 2 TKO win over Montserrat Ruiz, and I believe that was her first UFC fight. She has 4 KO wins, 5 submission wins, and 1 decision win. She has 3 inches of reach on her opponent, Denise Gomez, who is 8-3, coming off a decision loss to Angela Hill. 6 of her wins are by KO. She also went and did a grappling match in the meantime, losing by heel hook in right before the 8-minute mark in the match. Moira has a grappling advantage, and I believe will give Gomez her first professional submission loss in MMA, because she did lose in grappling there, this year. I'm taking Moira by round 1 submission will be the pick. Next fight up the card. We've got John Castaneda versus Daniel Marcos. Daniel Marcos, 15-0, coming off a split decision win over Davey Grant last July. He's had 3 canceled bouts since then. He has 8 KO wins, 7 decisions to his name. Not bad striking, but a slow pace. John, 21-6, coming off a decision win over Kyung Ho Kang. He did get KO'd in 2022 by a knee from Daniel Santos, but he's tough, and since 0 KOs happened last card, I'm picking Marcos by decision. I don't see him KOing Castaneda. I don't really understand why Marcos is a pick'em, a -100. That's going to be like a pick of the week right there. Marcos, definitely get your money there. But even odds, come on. He's winning it. He's undefeated, guys. He's winning that fight. Next fight up the card, we've got Andrea Lee versus Montana De La Rosa. Andrea Lee is 13-9, coming off a decision loss to Miranda Maverick this year. She's on a 4-fight losing streak, the longest losing streak of her career, and she's on the tail end of her career at 35 years old. Montana De La Rosa is 12-9, coming off a loss to JJ Aldrich. She's on a 3-fight losing streak, the other 2 losses being Tatiana Suarez and Macy Barber. There's a lot better losses, I'd say, than losing. I mean, Miranda Maverick's not bad, but she kind of has been checked herself a few times. Montana De La Rosa is 6 years younger than Andrea, and she has the grappling edge, I believe. I'm going to call Montana De La Rosa by decision will be the pick. Next fight up the card. We've got, oh my God, Brad Katona versus Jesse Butler. Excited for this one. Brad Katona is 13-3 coming off a decision loss to Garrett Armfield at UFC 297 in January. When I was watching it live, I was coping hard telling myself Katona was winning that fight. I rewatched it. Man, what was I looking at? I was watching a whole other fight in January. I don't know. Armfield outstruck him in every round, and Katona did absolutely nothing with the takedowns he got. Armfield won that fight. Yeah, Katona needs a win here, I think. He needs this win. He's against Jesse Butler, who's 12-5 coming off a round 1 KO loss to Jim Miller. He got KO'd in 23 seconds. His last win is outside of the UFC. He was given a favorable matchup in that fight where he had 5 inches of reach on his opponent. Still got out-grappled in some moments. I see Katona beating Jesse up on the feet. Oh, I don't even want to say beating up. He's never hurt anyone. I'm taking a safe pick of Katona by decision. Next fight up the card, we got Charles Radke versus Carlos Prates. Radke's 9-3 coming off a round 1 KO win over Gilbert Urbina. He's currently on a 5-fight win streak. Prates is 18-6 coming off a round 2 KO win over Trevin Giles in his UFC debut. He's on an 8-fight win streak currently, 10 if you include his kickboxing fights. 13 of his 18 wins are by KO. He does have nice striking. However, he wasn't looking amazing before he caught Trevin in his last fight. I see him outboxing Radke, and I will say he gets the knockout in either rounds 2 or round 3. It'll be out of nowhere. He's just going to land a nice combination. It's going to put Radke away. I'm going Prates by round 2 KO will be the pick. Next fight up the card, we got our featured prelim bout, Thiago Moises versus Ludovic Klein. Ludovic is 21-4 on a 4-fight win streak coming off a round 1 KO win over AJ Cunningham, where he broke him down over the first 5 minutes with like 20 seconds left or 40 seconds left in the fight. He broke him with body shots, hit him with a nice teep up the middle, broke him, fell over, body shot TKO. Moises coming off a round 3 leg kick TKO over Mitch Ramirez, before that being finished by Benoit Saint Denis by a round 2 ground and pound TKO where he got beat up on the feet and taken down at will, pummeled some more. I see Ludovic outstriking him to a possible late finish, but I'm going to go Ludovic Klein by decision. That sounded weird. I'm going Ludovic Klein by decision. Official pick. And now we're moving on to the main card, baby. Let's go. First fight in the main card, we got Miguel Baza versus Punahel Soriano. Forgot his first name for a second. Soriano's 9-4 coming off a submission loss to Dustin Stoltzfus, where he was a -260 underdog. He had a not bad first round, but he got dropped at the last second in the first round, which very well could have gave the round to Stoltzfus because it was so close. He's got power in his hands. He likes to play the counter shot, but he's very square in his stance and very open to low kicks and straight shots. And Miguel's 10-3, those 3 losses being his last 3 fights, 2 of which being by KO. He has not fought in 2 years besides a grappling match in April of this year, which he did win, but this fight feels unpredictable when I'm looking at it. I could go with Soriano round 1 KO, but I don't really trust that. I don't really trust that too much. I think Miguel will mix it up, take him down, use his grappling, won't find a submission. I'm going Miguel Baza by decision will be the official pick. So on to the next fight of the night. We got Julian Marquez versus Zachary Reese. And oh man, Julian is 9-4 coming off of 2 consecutive KO losses to Marc-Andre Barriault and Gregory Rodriguez. He does have a win over Smiling Sam Alvey and has been in the UFC since 2017. He's only 34 years of age though. Zach is 6-1 coming off a round 1 slam KO loss to Cody Brundage, man. You guys remember this. I went super hard on Zachary Reese saying he was going to win. Then he gets Batista bombed in a minute. 4 of his wins are by KO though. 2 of his wins are by submission. I'm very scared here because Reese fucked me over last time hard. Not abandoning that triangle choke and just getting Batista bombed. Like, what are you doing, Zach? Quit MMA. I'm going to have to trust him to win this one, to be honest. Oh, my God. I'm taking Zachary Reese by a round 1 KO. Call me crazy, but fuck, I think it's going to happen. Next fight up the card. We've got Bruno Ferreira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Bruno is 11-1 coming off a round 1 KO win over Phil Hawes. There was like 5 seconds left in the round. He got that KO. His only loss being by Nursultan Ruziboev by a round 1 KO. Stoltzfus is 15-5 coming off a round 2 KO. Round 2 submission win over Soriano. He got finished in 20 seconds by Abbas Magomedov by a spinning wheel kick. That's Abbas's only body in the company. Even in his Soriano win, he was getting caught on the chin in the first round. I believe Bruno will absolutely murder this guy. Violence, Bruno by round 1 KO. Next fight up the card, we got Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Tercios. Over/under 0.5 fights happening, because I don't know if this even makes it to the ring. This fight's been booked twice, hasn't happened yet. It got canceled the day of, during the card the first time. It was like approaching the main card, and then they announced it was canceled. It was bullshit. Maybe this fight happens this Saturday. If it does, Raul Rosas Jr. is 8-1 coming off a KO win over Terrence Mitchell. Before that, his first loss to weight bully Christian Rodriguez. Ricky's 12-3 coming off a split decision win over Kevin Natividad. Ricky just always looks like crap, though. He looks like he's trying to be Kung Fu Kid or something. He's only seen the movie once, though. He lost to Sahabis dominantly. He robbed Brady Heidstand of his win. He never looks good. Raul is winning this fight. I'll say Raul wins by submission or late ground and pound TKO win over Ricky Tercios. I'm going Raul by round 2 sub will be the pick. Moving on to the co-main event, Dominic Reyes versus Dustin Jacoby. And oh man, I'm sorry, Dominic, you're catching another body. Reyes is 12-4, and man, this hurts. He's lost 4 of his last 4 fights. He really beat John Jones, but can't go back, guys. We can't go back in time. His last 3 losses are all by KO. He hasn't fought since November of 2022. He had 2 fights this year fall through with Carlos Ulberg. He was supposed to fight him in January or start of February maybe, but Carlos pulled out due to an injury. They rebooked it, and Reyes withdrew. He was scared. Jacoby's 19-8 coming off a decision loss to Alonzo Menefield. Before that, beating Kennedy and Chekshikwu by a round 1 KO. The fight before that. We know what happens here, guys. It may seem like things are going good in this fight for a little bit, but if Jacoby doesn't KO Reyes in the first round, it's going to be in the second round. If it's not in the second round, it's going to be in the third round. And if it's not in the third round, then it doesn't happen. But yeah, things are going to get scrappy, guys. I'm telling you, Jacoby will land and put Reyes away. I'm going Jacoby round 1 KO. Time for the main event of the evening. Jared Cannonier versus Nasruddin Imavov. Fun fact, Jared Cannonier versus Marvin Vettori, his last fight, was the first Genie pick ever. That doesn't matter. But Jared Cannonier, 17-6, coming off a unanimous decision win over Marvin Vettori last July, and a split decision win over Strickland, which could have went to Strickland, but it could have went to Strickland. His last loss to Israel Adesanya in 2022, where it seemed like he was scared to really push Israel Adesanya back, and he accepted his fate to losing a decision. He just tries to point fight too hard sometimes, I think. Even though it works, but against a guy like Adesanya, you got to move forward. You got to look for that finishing blow. Imavov is 13-4, coming off a decision win over Roman Dolidze, where he nearly finished Dolidze a few times, and he boxed his bleeding head off of him. Cannonier's tough, though, so I'm not expecting him to be finished. This will be a tough 5-round fight. I'm going to have to go with the younger, faster opponent in Imavov. Cannonier's 40 years old. His chin is still holding up. He's going to get KO'd because I said that, but he's still holding up. He's still putting out great performances. Imavov is a nice striker, though. He's got power, he's got range, he's got speed, combos. I like it a lot. He could get the KO, but I'm going to have to go with Imavov by decision will be my pick. Let me know what you guys think. Those are all the picks for this card. More content coming here soon. Let's go.